Hello guys, welcome back to Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Trilogy. Last time we left off, we did the whole investigation segment. Now, it's trial day. Get ready to scream objection as we head into trial. And we're straight into the courtroom. There's Ellsworth. Defense is ready on. I forgot, I'm foresighted. Today will be the final day of this trial. I hope both the prosecution and the defense will be able to present decisive evidence. Very well, Mr. Ellsworth, your opening statement. In yesterday's session, the defense presented us with a new theory of this case. He claims that the scene of the crime was, in fact, Studio 2. Today I will call on people present in the Studio 2 trailer that day. From their testimonies, the truth will become clear. Very well. Ellsworth seems a bit on edge today. Really, Phoenix? You may call your first witness, Mr. Ellsworth. The prosecution calls Miss D. Vasquez to the stand. I can't do it, but Miss D. Vasquez is a producer who was present in the Studio 2 trailer that day. I'm trying not to make him sound like the judge, but will the witness state her name and occupation? D. Vasquez. I'm a producer for Global Studios. On the day of the murder, you were in the trailer in Studio 2. As everyone here knows, yes. I dislike needless banter. If you must pontificate, do it when I'm not here. Very well, Miss Vasquez. Please, give the court your testimony concerning the day of the murder. Nick, I know she did it. Make her pay. Right. If she's guilty, I'll catch her with her pants down, so to speak. Really? That's not saying. I entered the trailer, a little before noon. The meeting began at 12 p.m. sharp. It ended at 4 p.m. I know I don't have to say p.m., but just... There was a rehearsal afterwards, so we went to Studio 1. I was fatigued, so I had Sal take me. At 2:30, we took a 15-minute break in the meeting. Sal and I ate T-bone steaks in front of the trailer. We found Thomas' body later when we all went to Studio 1. That's all. I have a question about one part of your testimony. You were fatigued, so you had Sal take you. The fan. That's the fan at Studio 2. I had him take me in that. I thought it might be risky to walk with that monkey's head toppling over. I see. Very well, Mr. Wright, your course examination. This is the final battle, Nick. Let's do it. Do this. Right, hold on. Let's start. Hold on. Yes, I'll take you. What does that mean? It means what I just said. I'll take me in the Studio 2 fan. Oh, alright. Okay. And what were you doing during that time? Don't hit your desk. It irritates me. Yeah, Mr. Wright. Oops. It was a 15-minute break. So that, okay, I don't need. Do you have someone who can verify this? Sal? No, I mean someone else. One person is enough. She committed murder during the break. She wouldn't have time to eat a T-bone steak. There's some evidence that proves she didn't eat that steak. Well, Nick, find anything? I wish she'd say a little more. It's hard. I think she's pretty used to me being the boss. Yeah. I'm going to try this. I can't remember. Oh, no, I was right. Ha! As I thought. You claim you ate a T-bone steak, but I say you did not. What's the meaning, no, Mr. Right? What's this? No, Mr. Right. Look at this. It's a plate. This plate was on the table in the employee. As you see, a lost bone has been left behind. Mr. Right, need I remind you that it's a T-bone steak? Exactly my point. Remember, if you will, Miss Vasquez and Mr. Manila ate at a table outside the trailer. Yet there were no bones left on the plates. The plates were bare. Miss Vasquez, tell me, how can a person eat a T-bone steak and not leave the bone? I think I know how. Yet bone steak, you didn't eat steak. Steak, you ate the bone too. You didn't eat any steak during that break. You took your steak and threw it somewhere like the incinerator. I see. Then what was Miss Vasquez doing at her break? Isn't it obvious? Your Honor, she was meeting with the Steel Samurai. Order. Are you saying? Yes, Your Honor. As Miss Vasquez left the trailer to eat a steak, she ran into the Steel Samurai, and then you did it. You killed him with your own hands. Mr. Wright, isn't that a little presumptuous? What kind of stunt are you trying to pull, Miss Wright? Let him claim what he wants. You say I did it? Yes. Fascinating. And here I was worrying that today would be as boring as all the rest. Very well, let's have a battle of wits, you and I. Any day, Vasquez. Good luck, Nick. Oh, tell the truth, miss. Let's see. What was that murder weapon again? Oh, yes, a samurai spear. Yes. How must you see a woman of petty stature? How could I possibly use a heavy spear as a weapon? You couldn't, could you? I think you would have a great deal of difficulty using that as a weapon. Pretty much anyone would. Huh. You see? Yes. However, I think there's no bearing on this case. Meaning, the samurai spear was not the murder weapon. What? What's the meaning of this? The spear was fine lying next to the victim's body. I have proof, Your Honor. I can prove that the samurai spear was not used as a murder weapon. It was a defense. Wait, what? Wrong, Mr. Wright. But I haven't said anything yet. I know you well enough by now to prove that you're going to present the wrong evidence. I can sense it too with my fey blood. Okay. So I picked the wrong. Oh, so it was not you. Oh, it's cause it was broke. I present my proof, the so-called murder weapon. But that is a murder weapon. Not so fast. We'll get to that guy later. Or maybe 2 weeks, I don't know. Who says that? Remember that this spear broke during the morning at something wrong through, but someone fixed the spear. It was just she's doing a thing where she waves like point bends her fingers. She fixed it with duct tape. So the camera couldn't focus, but no, tell me how is it possible for someone to stab a man who is wearing a thick costume with this through the chest? Oh, order. Mr. Wright, what are you driving at? Think about what you're... Silence. Hey, you're stealing someone's catchphrase. Who says that later? In their destinies. I am the one testifying here and I will be heard. Are you quite sane? I was thinking ahead to be. Are you even aware of what you're saying? If the samurai spear was not the murder weapon, then pray tell what was? How was Hammer killed? Well, Mr. Wright, can you tell us what weapon was to kill Mr. Hammer? Would I make a claim like that if I couldn't tell you what the weapon was? I'm afraid your confidence can sometimes be unfounded, Mr. Wright. Very well, let's see what this murder weapon then. Look at this photo. What was this? Why, that's Jack Hammer standing on top of the stairs. Oh, order. If have ordered this child, this will be suspended. Mr. Wright, wasn't this all about? This photo is from 5 years ago. There was an unfortunate accident at Global Studios. This is a photo of that very incident. No word of this was leaked to Dodge. It was a close-up kept secret at the studio. What does this have to do with the current case, Mr. Ainsworth? You still can't see it. See the fallen man in this photo? See all the fence posts pierced him through the chest? What are you saying? Yes. What happened 5 years ago? Has happened again. Mr. Wright, continue. It's 12:30 p.m. on the day of the murder. Miss Vasquez meets Jack Hammer outside the Studio 2 trailer. Then she did it. She pushed Mr. Hammer off the stairs onto the fence. Just like Mr. Hammer done himself 5 years ago. Though whether she did on purpose or by accident, I cannot say. In other words, the victim, Mr. Hammer, died in the same way that he caused another man to die 5 years ago. Precisely. Ironic, isn't it? Very clever, Mr. Wright. I could use a man like you on my script writing staff. You deny that what I say is true? Mr. Wright, let's say for the sake of argument that Hammer died at the trailer, as you say. Yes, the body was found at Studio 1, was it not? And in the evil magistrate's costume, no less, claiming that I carried the body to Studio 1 and returned to the trailer on the space of 5-minute break. How could I have disposed of the body? The break in the meeting at the trailer lasted 15 minutes from 12:30 to 2:30 to 2:45. Could Jackham have been pushed off the stairs to staff, then carried to Studio 1 and placed inside his costume? There wasn't enough time. Indeed. Well, Mr. Wright, how could she have dealt with the body? She had another way to carry the body other than with her own hands. For instance, for that matter, there was no need for her to do the deed in 15 minutes. There was a way for you to carry that body. Interesting, I see it then. Mr. Wright, please show us how she carried the body. Miss Vasquez, you carried the body to Studio 1, and then you used the studio fan to do it. Recall your testimony. There was to be a rehearsal afterwards, so we went to Studio 1. I was fatigued, so I had Sal take me. Then there was a fan right there that I had Sal drive me. You used the fan to carry the body to Studio 1. Then, before anyone else got there, you put the body in the magistrate costume. Hold on, Mr. Wright. Don't forget it was Salmonella that drove the fan. Are you suggesting that Mr. Manella was a conspirator? Of course, Salmonella has to have been a conspirator. The body had to be placed in the fan and put into the costume. There was no way Miss Vasquez could have done that alone. Also, don't forget that they had to dispose of the steel samurai costume. They had to, because it was covered in Mr. Hammer's blood. They probably burnt in the small incinerator. Oh, Miss Vasquez, I'll continue. No need. You're smarter than you look, Mr. Wright. I lose, you win. It was fun. I win? So what happens next? Don't, me? Don't you have anything else to say? What would you like me to say? Huh? I lost something like that? I just said that. Wait, so you mean De Vasquez, so it was you? You killed Jack Hammer? Okay. You can say. Huh? Are you sure I did, Mr. Wright? We just engaged in a battle first, and the results of that battle you proved the possibility that another time, right? But that is only a possibility. Proof is another thing altogether. You lack decisive proof, Mr. Wright. Whoa. What? Order. Mr. Ellsworth, your thoughts. Of course, as a witness says. Certainly. It does seem very likely she did it, but there's no proof. Ellsworth isn't sure. Well, I came here as a witness today. If you have no more questions, I'll be leaving. What did I do now? Testify again, Vasquez. I'd like you to testify again. Testify again? No one to give up, Mr. Wright. Think about it. Even if I were to testify again, what's the point? I can only say what I said before. The truth, Mr. Wright. I've already said all there is to say. What would happen if I say it again? You'd ask me the same questions, get the same answers, a waste of time. Damn! To come so far only to fail. As it seems there's no further questions, I would like to end the cross-examination of the witness, Miss Vasquez. Yes, Mr. Ellsworth, I was hoping to come with a question. Well, I was objecting, Your Honor. I didn't. That awkward objection. I see very well. Your Honor, I request that the witness testify again. Here the prosecutor, just objects again. Why are you badgering me? I'm your witness. I just want to hear your testimony again. Does this make any sense to you, Your Honor? I don't see that we have anything to gain by repeating the last several minutes. Mr. Ellsworth, I too see very little point in making Miss Vasquez repeat herself. What exactly did you want her to testify about? Well, yes, indeed, fairly, I say, ergo. I want her to testify. I want to hear about what happened after they found the body. After they found the body, very well. The witness will testify to the court concerning this matter. Heck, why did this? Who knows? He probably realized he did it too. But, wasn't he the one that said he always gets to go further after all that? Swerve. I was with Salmonella and Obag, the security lady, when we found the body. The system was there too, only Pius was absent. I immediately called the police and Pius showed up. The security lady, Obag, was quite agitated, pointing at Pius saying he did it. I asked to be left off the proceedings. I went back to the trailer to get my script and direction notes, and I went home. I see no issues raised by that testimony. Morning, Mr. Wright, your cross-examination. Okay, Nick, we're real close. She may be acting tough now, but if you put her on the spot, she's sure to falter. Find the key you need and twist it to further, Nick. Right. Script and your direction notes. Yes, they were quite valuable. It won't do to have them stolen. No, I guess not. Press hard. Wait a second. I thought you came to Studio 1 for rehearsal. Why didn't you bring the script and notes? Well, I was under the impression that we wouldn't be able to rehearse anything. Why? There was a murder after all. Who could think of rehearsing after that? Oh yeah, I guess. Very well, Miss Vasquez. Please continue. Here we go. Your Honor, I have an objection to the witness's last statement. Huh? Think. Miss Vasquez soon says she couldn't bring a script because there wouldn't be any beer with us. Don't you see what that means? She would have had to know about the murder before going to Studio 1. This bit really makes me... This last bit always gets under my skin, especially... I mean, the anime makes it so awesome, but still... Order. Mr. Ellsworth, what you have just said is a reasonable observation. However, I find it hard to understand why the prosecutor question will make such a move. Or are you thinking of a career change to defense? I appreciate the concern, Your Honor. I'll stand by my statement, however, regardless of how the court sees my role here. Now, Miss Vasquez, do you have an explanation? I can't believe Ellsworth is helping me. So the prosecution is in cahoots with the defense. What kind of courses? No matter. I think you have misunderstood me. I have a perfectly good reason to believe there would be no rehearsal. Very well, the witness will change her testimony to reflect this fact. See why Connor's still playing? Cause this is the final. Well, I mean, I don't know. How did you know about the injury? How did I know? Sal. He told me. Sal the director. You have to find everything we've done till now will be a waste of. Oh no, wait, I have to present, right? There we go. You knew that Hammer was injured. Don't you think that's a little funny? I mean, it was a Steel Samurai who was injured. It was well poised. What? Mr. Rice, blue music. Yes, Mr. Hammer is dragging his leg in this photo, but that's because he was pretending to be Mr. Powers. Pretending? One person was injured in the run through that morning, and that person was Mr. Powers, not Mr. Hammer. No, why did you think it was Mr. Hammer who was injured? I already said it was Sal who told me. That's right, must have gotten it wrong. I think not. Mr. Manella was at the run through that morning. He would have known it was Mr. Powers who was injured. He saw it happen. Why would he tell you the wrong person? Miss Vasquez? You saw Hammer limping. I say you didn't hear anything from Mr. Now. You saw Mr. Hammer limping with your own eyes. Yes, but wasn't it Mr. Paws who was injured? Yes, but remember, Mr. Hammer was dragging his leg too. He was pretending to be Mr. Paws. How? When was he doing this? Well, it would have to be after he put on the Steel Samurai costume and went to Studio 2 where he was murdered. Exactly. Miss Vasquez, you met him, didn't you? You saw the Steel Samurai limping. And Miss Dahmer was in that Steel Samurai suit. That's why you were confused. That's why you thought it was Mr. Hammer who had been injured that morning. Order, I will have order. Witness, can you refute this claim? Yeah, let's see, sneak of this one, Vasquez. Very well. I have a question for you. Why are the real killers always so persistent? Why in the world would I want Mr. Hammer dead? Yes, he had fallen on hard times, but he was a star. I had nothing to gain from his death, nothing. Yes, you would need a motive. Why would she have killed the victim? If there is a reason, it's unclear to this court. Does the defense have anything to say on this matter? In other words, can you prove she had a motive? No, I can't. Nick, no. Saying you can't prove it will be admitting defeat so guilty. But what could I possibly have? I don't care if it's impossible, you start fighting this one. Okay, I have proof and I'll show it to you. I present to the court evidence. Okay. This is my proof. This is the photo from before. This photo reveals the motive in this murder. I'm right on time, Miss Vasquez. 5 years ago, Mr. Hammer was at the Harvest Ring. With D. Vasquez's help, a terrible incident was swept under the carpet. Ladies and gentlemen, The case currently up for trial. It began on that day 5 years ago. Ironically enough, that incident precipitated fell from stardom. Whose guilt weighed him down? You must be Vasquez used him, Mr. Hammer. You made him work for petty chains. Bringing us to the present day. And Mr. Hammer's last was a evil magistrate, yes. Undoubtedly, it was a constant source of shame for that stuff. One moment, Mr. Wright. We are talking about motives here. Yet you talk about Mr. Hammer. It almost seems as if Mr. Hammer, who had killed the Vasquez, not the other way around. What motive would the Miss Vasquez have? Yes, that's right. According to what you say, I'd have no reason to kill Hammer. He was a good source of income for me, and I'll never get rid of useful men as a policy. Mr. Wright, please say no motive. She had no motive, Your Honor. Also, no, it was Mr. Hammer who was out for plot. All Miss Vasquez did was push him off the stairs in self-defense. What's that now? Mr. Hammer was intending to kill Miss Vasquez. What? What? Your Honor, Jack Hammer drugged Mr. Purse with sleeping pills. Jack Hammer snuck into the dressing room and stole the steel samurai costume. Jack Hammer wore the costume to fool the security lady into thinking he was Purse. Then Jack Hammer made his way to the trailer, and for what purpose, he asked? To kill D. Vasquez, who had so cruelly taken advantage of him all these years. So you did do it, didn't you? Yes, I am guilty. It was me. Someone call an ambulance. There's blood everywhere. We're too late. Miss Vasquez. What happened to you? Manuel fell from the trailer stairs. Manuel. Miss Vasquez, please. Try to remain calm. No. How could this? It was an accident. Mr. Hammer was doing an accident. No, Manuel. Don't toss him, Miss Vasquez. No. Please don't die. Please. Congratulations, Mr. Wright. I lose again. Mr. Ellsworth was the Vasquez in the waiting lobby on as calm and collected as ever. I see, Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor. It appears you've brought yet another miracle. I find